Hi, everybody, and welcome to today, Monday, April 20th, 2020. I'm Piper Harris, the coach and CEO of Poimo Women's Success Coaching. So today I'm continuing my series, the Caring Through COVID video series, where I'm hoping to bring you things to give you hope, some tools maybe for your business, or even some tips for your personal development. So let's jump into today. I know that we are in this crisis, and so many things have shifted. And this week, I'm really digging into paradigm shift. Now, before we get into this term, I do want to say that those of you in the science community are absolutely throwing your arms in the air and saying, we are so tired of this being used in the way that it's being used. So let me explain just a little bit to you all. So a scientist named Thomas Kuhn, he had come up with paradigm shift a little over 50 years ago. And really what it was about science. It was really about what could be observed and scrutinizing it and asking questions, and how could those questions, be structured in a way to explain how certain results happened in a scientific equation or not. So over the years, what's really happened with this term paradigm shift is that it really has been applied to more social psychology, more psychology in general. And Kuhn and anybody that's watching would say this is not what paradigm shift is supposed to be about. Well, we are discarding that. We're going to talk about a paradigm shift. And what I mean by a paradigm shift is what's happening right now during this crisis. And a paradigm shift usually takes place in an event, something that rocks you, that changes how things are and moves them to where they should be or they could be. So we're seeing that. We're in the midst of a paradigm shift. We don't know where it's going to end up. I can say with the conversations I've had with family and friends, I can see a shift taking place with how we manage business. We've learned that we can work from home. It's not easy with those kiddos, but I think that there's going to be a massive paradigm shift with how businesses are going, their expectations, I should say, of their employees. Are they going to be more flexible with working from home, those sort of things? Also, the paradigm shift in relation to that of, do we need these giant buildings, or is there a way for organizations to shift that thinking, to shift that thinking of we have to be in the brick and mortar 24/7 to, kind of tearing out when people come on to shift or whatever it may be, cutting down on the space, cutting down on, building taxes, cutting down on taking care of the building. All of those things, I think, in our organizations are really going to shift. I think that we're seeing a massive shift as well in some of our leaders of trusting individuals to work from home, and the micromanaging. There's a shift. And I think what we're going to see with this shift during this crisis, and it's shifting towards us, is allowing employees, allowing your staff to be creative and innovative, and trusting them to do so without having their finger on them. I think as well that there's going to be a paradigm shift socially. I really do. I wonder how it's going to be for large events, football games, concerts. I think for myself as well, that I'm thinking of, how am I going to welcome someone? I've always been a big hugger. Is that going to shift? Is that going to shift for me? I don't know. I'm kind of shoveling through these things, wondering, is there going to be a paradigm shift for myself when it comes to personal contact, to welcoming people in? I think there's also a paradigm shift with our small business owners. I've seen a lot of small business owners that had services and products on site. And I'm seeing so many shift into, okay, we're going to bring this online. How can I develop my service or my product for individuals outside of this business or outside of my brick and mortar? And so I believe there's a massive paradigm shift. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about paradigm shift in regard to crisis, because we do have an opportunity. And I know if you're in the middle of this, you might not even be watching this because you can't. And I understand that. But in the middle of crisis, we do have the opportunity to recognize our unshakable purpose, to recognize the purpose of why we're here, and shift that paradigm from this is my purpose away from my purpose is bringing a paycheck. Does that make sense? I think that the paradigm shift or this crisis, excuse me, is forcing a paradigm shift in how you see yourself. And so I want to jump in this week and talking about my own personal paradigm shift in the last 360 days. So like a lot of you women probably, I celebrate my birthday for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sometimes I have a birthday month. And this week I am celebrating, it's my birthday week for Poema, or as a women's success coach. And it's on Friday, 365 days. And I have been in business for almost 10 years now, but I did take a short hiatus, and it created a massive paradigm shift. And I would say this was a pivotal crisis in my life. And as I'm thinking about us being at home in the midst of COVID, and the clients I'm talking to, and women that I'm helping them shift their mindset, shift their business, I see where you're at. And it's really interesting because it's those stages of grief. I read a wonderful article by the Harvard Business Review that feeling you're feeling right now, that's grief. So many of us are grieving what's happening in this crisis. We're having to say goodbye to the way things have always been, and having to walk into a future that we just really don't know what it's going to look like. And I can say that having gone through my own personal crisis 360 days ago, I have been able to walk through that grief and all those stages of grief, and we're going to discuss that more this week. And I have been able to find my purpose, to define my purpose. And here is what I want to say to you. During this crisis, we do have an opportunity. We do have an opportunity to, once we get past the grief and the pain, and I understand if you're there, and I'm sure you are, it takes so long to get past this stage. But you do have an opportunity to say, how can I use this crisis for purpose? And I would really challenge you to ask yourself right now, where have I placed my purpose up to this event? Now, with what happened to me 360 days ago, I misplaced my significance and my identity in a career. Okay, that's what my purpose was. And when that was taken away, I was shaken to the core. And I think a lot of you are feeling that right now. You've lost your business. You don't know how you're going to reopen. You're worried for your employees. And it's this grief and this overwhelming grief and sadness. And what do I do? In fact, it was funny, as I was getting ready to talk to you all today, I took a shower, didn't blow dry my hair because I was thinking about it. I'm like, 360 days ago, I didn't know if I could get out of bed and take a shower. I thought, what's the point? What's the point? And I bet you right now in the middle of a crisis are like, what's the point? Why should I get out of bed? Why should I keep pursuing something I don't know that's there? Because it's just a weight right now, and it hurts, and I understand. But what I know from my own paradigm shift, my paradigm shift from a crisis to who I am today has prepared me for COVID. And this is what I want to say. I have defined my unshakable purpose, my Poema. That is the name of my coaching for a reason. I believe I was made for a purpose. I am a masterpiece. I am a workmanship. I believe there's something greater than me that has called me to this. And it's something that I've had to deeply harness in the last 360 days. It's pulled me through those levels of grief. It's pulled me from that misplaced identity and that misplaced significance a thing, a career, what I was doing to who I was created to be. Who I was created to be. And we all have that. But it is a matter of working through this paradigm shift, working through what's taking place with you right now, recognizing the feelings and the emotions that you're going through are absolutely normal. It's absolutely normal to feel like you can't get out of bed, you can't take a shower. It's absolutely humbling, probably, during this time to sit there and think about the could-haves, the should-haves, the would-haves, and saying, how do I keep moving forward? So paradigm shifts, if we're paying attention in the middle of crisis, you can say to yourself, I'm going to discover my true calling. I'm going to discover my true purpose, and I'm going to hold on to that as my foundation. I kind of talked about this last week about our values, those unshakable things that we hold on to in the midst of crisis. Does that mean the crisis doesn't hurt? Absolutely not. Does that mean that you don't go through stages of grief? Absolutely not. But you always have that anchor of your defined purpose, of your calling, and it's going to set you on a path. And that path is going to make a massive paradigm shift on how you look at yourself. I no longer place my significance on a career. I no longer place my significance on a career. I place my significance on what I have been called to do, what my values are. Because here's the thing, my career can change. I've shared over the years, I've had some crazy careers, and especially as a small business owner, you have to pivot. The women that I've had on my Lunch and Learn series, they're saying the same thing. I had to pivot. I was faced with crisis, so I had to pivot. And I'm here to tell you, you do have a choice. Right now, I know you're hurting. Right now, I know you're grieving and you're processing through this. But I can tell you, 360 days ago, I was right in your shoes. And this week, I am celebrating my paradigm shift. Friday, 365 days of putting my significance in my purpose, my poema. Putting my identity in my purpose, not in what I do. Does that make sense? My purpose on this earth, is to encourage women, empower women into heightened leadership. What is that? That's shifting your focus, shifting your paradigm, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life. I want you to harness the power that you have. No more waiting for somebody else to fix it. No more waiting around for your someone to recognize, your goodness. No more of that. You take a hold of it. No more misplaced identity. No more misplaced significance. You have the significance right here and right now. Your calling is not the career that you're mourning right now. Your calling is not the vocation that you are working right now or that you've lost. Your calling and your purpose is that thing that you're going to harness, and it's going to create this massive paradigm shift that you'll never be faced in a crisis where you don't know what to hold on to. This COVID crisis has been just as painful as my crisis from 360 days ago. The difference is that I've done the work to recognize the purpose and where I misplaced my significance. And I want you to shift that. I want you to shift from the grief. I want you to be able to shift from the grief and the sadness. And I want you to shift into your significance and recognizing your significance. Stop misplacing it in those things. Try to shake free, take a shower. So this week, we are going to be discussing significance in your life and discussing your purpose and harnessing that and having a massive paradigm shift so that when you are faced with a crisis, whether it's COVID-19, whether it's losing a loved one, whether it's bankruptcy, whatever it may be, that you have the tools, you have the anchor and the foundation to get through that crisis, because you can have everything. I can have everything stripped away. My titles, my company, I can have all of those things stripped away, but that is not me. That is not me. So this week, we're going to be discussing the pain points when you are recognizing that you're on the brink of a paradigm shift, and how to walk through the pain, because it is extremely painful. I want to celebrate this week with you. The celebration on Friday of 365 days of my own personal paradigm shift. And the reason I want to celebrate with you is that I hope that it gives you hope that at the end of this pandemic, and in the months to come, and at the end of your 365 days, I want to celebrate with you that you chose the paradigm shift, that you chose to walk fully in your purpose, and recognizing that the purpose of you, the purpose of your life, is applied to all kinds of different careers, is applied in all kinds of different ways. And so that the crises may still hurt, but you're able to forge a way forward. And I want to celebrate with you in 365 days. I truly do. So we're going to talk about your potential and how to shift when this paradigm starts emerging. And I believe if you ask yourself, am I feeling a shift? You are. You might not be ready quite yet to embrace it and walk through it, but I'm going to share a lot of my story this week and how I kept getting hit by wave after wave after wave of crisis. It wasn't just one initial crisis. I just felt like the world was coming in around me, and how working through those levels of grief, we'll dig into that this week, I was able to, again, walk in my values, walk in my purpose, and not misplace it on a profession. So I can't wait to discuss this more with you this week. Are you on the brink of a paradigm shift? How will you want to look in 365 days? How do you want to feel in 365 days? How do you want to overcome? What will your foundation and your anchor be moving forward? So thanks so much for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow. And also, don't forget to join me on Wednesday for my Lunch and Learn series. This is at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There is a link available for registration. This week, I have a certified mental health counselor and gentle sleep expert, Julie Kennedy, joining me. Julie and I have known each other for almost 20 years. We counseled together, but she is a gentle sleep expert, and she helped me enormously when we transitioned into our new home with my youngest son. He had a lot of sleeping problems, and I don't know about you, but I'm sure mommies and daddies out there, your kids aren't sleeping like they normally do. So you're not sleeping like you normally do. And when we don't have sleep, we're not well. Our mental health is not well. Our physical health is not well. So Julie is going to be joining us on Wednesday, giving us those tips and tools that we need to help our kiddos transition through this crisis, help us all to sleep well, and help us all to be well. So make sure you don't miss this week's Lunch and Learn. Thanks again, and I will speak to everyone tomorrow. Hey there, thank you so much for taking the time today to join me and learning about paradigm shift. Also, I want to just say thank you for celebrating 365 days as your women's success coach. This is so exciting for me. Being in business for 10 years, this last year has meant more than the previous 9. So I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you can join me on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be live on my Facebook page. So head on over to facebook.com/Poema Coaching. That's POIEMA coaching.com, and we will celebrate. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll talk to you again soon.